one, and we're going live.
Okay.
Okay, welcome everyone, and welcome to the celebration of the Black History Month. And today I have an amazing guest with me today. Everyone, please join me and welcome my amazing guest for today. And that is no other person but my highly esteemed Dr. Dennis Oriero. He's a staff engineer at Northrop Grumman and has an impressive background, including work at Meta Reality Labs on smart glasses for AR and VR. I'm sure you tell us what that means. I'm not sure what that means. He's also a proud family man from Nigeria, a soccer enthusiast, and loves Afrobeat music and ancient history. In fact, join me and let's give him a warm welcome to Dr. Dennis Oriero. Thank you so much for taking out time for your busy schedule and being with us today. How are you doing today, Dr. Dennis?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much, Eruke, for the invitation and introduction. That was you're blowing the trumpet was too loud. You're blowing too, was making too loud. So but anyway, I'm delighted to be invited to this platform and looking forward to wonderful conversations and discussions.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Dennis. Again, looking at your introduction, you've been a soccer enthusiast. Please, which of the clubs do you belong to? All these soccer people, please, I hope it's not the one that I'm fighting with. Which of the soccer club do you belong to? Let's see if we'll start fighting from the beginning of this interview or this conversation.
No, we're not going to be fighting. I'm a Chelsea fanatic.
Oh, amazing. Anyway, I don't have a club. I used to be an Arsenal fan long time ago. I can't remember the last time I watched any form of football, none at all. There's something again in your introduction that talks about you liking Afrobeat music. So, which of the musicians would you say is your favorite musician?
Wow. That's a difficult question. There are so many. I can't pinpoint. I enjoy
All of them. The only
all of
Afro
them.
music I can think of right now on top of my head is Asa. I can't even remember any of her songs. Anyways, that's great to know. Well, thank you so much again for being here with us today. Can you share your journey from being a student in Nigeria to becoming a staff engineer in Northrop Grumman? What motivated you to pursue a career in engineering and technology? I've known you almost all my life, and you've been someone who is very enthusiastic about education, about improving yourself daily. So please, can you just share that journey from being a student in Nigeria to becoming a staff engineer at Northrop Grumman? And what motivated you to pursue a career in engineering and technology?
Wow, that's a loaded question. I'll take my time and hopefully time's on our side. So I I'm originally from West Africa, specifically Nigeria, the Niger Delta area. Had my early beginnings, early education there. Those of also audience who are familiar with that part of the world, um, grew up in three states in the Niger Delta area, and I also had my early education, primary education. While I was born, had primary education in what's known as Delta State, and then part of my high school or secondary education, Delta State, and then River State, and then university or what's called as college, that was Delta State, and then the neighboring state, which is Edo State. And had a stint with academics. I taught for a while and decided I wanted to go study grad school outside Nigeria, and then came to the US and studied a master's and doctorate degree in chemical engineering, and had my professional career just sprang up. Industry professional career just sprang up from there. Started with Intel, process engineer, then moved over to Honeywell Aerospace and Meta Reality Labs, formerly known as Facebook Reality Labs, and currently with Northrop Grumman. So in a nutshell, that's been the journey. As regards what motivated me to go into science, engineering, technology, it's a combination of interest, personal experience. Um, I grew up in an academic family. Both my parents were in academics. My dad has a PhD, uh, taught in the university or college environment. My mom was also a teacher, high school teacher. And when you're in that kind of environment, you don't have any option about
Mm.
you have to read your books. And so at early age, you know, we were given, books were provided to us as even birthday gifts. My dad had a huge shelf with books, and just curiosity, you just go and start reading books. And then there's some books that piqued my attention. We had to do with science. And then from there, you graduate to go to the library, start reading encyclopedia, and then watch movies, science fiction movies. So all those kind of shaping the interest and kind of picked up my interest from there. But particularly when I was in high school, I had a good teacher, good chemistry teacher, and she took us through all these chemistry labs and initially started from like primary school when you squeeze simple experiment where you squeeze the orange juice and you put the litmus paper in the juice and the color changes. That was the beginning of some kind of magic to me. Like, okay,
Oh.
well, this is fascinating. You just put juice from orange and then you put the litmus paper and change. This is magic. So this magic, I want to learn this magic. So anything that had to do with chemistry, I made up my mind that, you know what, even if it's medical sciences or engineering,
Mm.
there must be chemistry involved. I'm going to pursue it because to me it was magic, very fascinating magic. And that was part of it. Second one was personal experience. My dad had diabetes. He managed it for a long time, about 25 to 30 years. And I used to take me with him to go see his doctor, and then I would overhear that conversation. And as a kid, the mindset and experience you had was, oh, you're sick, you go to the hospital, they give you medication, and you get well, and that's it. But when the doctor start talking, I start overhearing conversations saying, oh, you can't cure this, it's gonna be managed, you're gonna be taking insulin shots and all that. I started to struggle with that as a kid, like, is there no medication that can be taken for him to get better and gone? And then I remember on those sessions, he started explaining the chemistry part of it. I was like, okay, so there's chemistry here. Okay, I'm going to pursue whatever it is there. And then the last experience was growing that part of the world. It's rich in oil and gas. And whenever I walk around, I go see my grandparents' village. They had farms, and you see their farmland. They start complaining that, oh, it's polluted with oil and farmlands are not, the yields from the crops are no longer doing well because of, oil pollution affecting even the rivers and the streams and waterways. And I kept asking my question, why is this happening?
Mm.
How? And okay, who are the folks that can take care of this? And then dig into, research, it all lined into again chemistry, folks that had anything to do with chemistry. So those three, experiences just locked in into anything that has to do with chemistry. whether it's science or engineering. So in a nutshell, that's the motivation.
Yeah, for me, you've spoke so well about these different things, and I like the fact that you actually walked us through the process. So it's not like you were brought up in the location where you are right now. The environment and the things around you actually made you begin to ask questions to see. Some people see things and wonder why. Others will see and ask why. And that's exactly what you did. You were not wondering, you were asking why. And the more you ask questions, the more answers you were getting. And the fact that you said the teacher actually stirred up that interest in you, then the environment, then where you find yourself. For me, I talked about the 15 Invaluable Laws of Good by John Maxwell. And one of the laws talk about the law of the environment. The environment you find yourself needs to motivate you to become the things that you are right now. That's exactly what you just said. The environment you found yourself, you realize that, you know what, I can stay here and just be asking why, oh, I can do something about this why. And that's exactly what you do. So that hunger was fueled by the environment, was fueled by your experiences from the OSP days right over to your dad illness, and again to what's that interest that the teacher has actually stirred up on the inside of you. For me, that is so, so amazing. For those of us listening, I hope we're picking up the salient points on what he's saying. He has taken us through this journey and we are seeing where he is right now. So, can you tell us where were some of the most exciting challenges you faced while working as a process engineer at the Meta Reality Labs, particularly in the development of smart glasses for AR, and VR technology? Any of the most exciting challenges you faced while working as a process engineer at Meta Reality Labs, particularly in the development of smart glasses of AR, VR technology? What are those anything? AR, VR technology.
Okay, AR means augmented reality. VR
Come
is virtual
on.
reality. I mean, overall, it does the same. The intent is the same, but there's slight difference. So for AR, you're putting the user is wearing the glasses, and
Oh,
his real world, his real environment is enhanced with digital information, which may be text message, pictures, animations, videos. So you can be walking on the street, and at the same time you get a text message and you see it display in front of your screen and eyeball. In the case of the virtual reality, it's an artificial environment that is created, and then you are immersed in that artificial environment.
please
And
hold on.
they,
Hold on. That AR VR is the same thing as that. There's this thing I go to one of our friends' house. You wear something on your head and you are in the world where you are practically just, you're practically jumping over things. And I'm like, it's virtual reality. Is that what this is?
you're talking of like the Oculus Quest, the
Oh, okay,
headset
please
you
don't
put on.
confuse me more. Let's stick to this one.
Yes, that's exactly virtual reality. So you're immersed in that artificial environment, and then you are interacting with, digital information, text, animations, videos. You're just immersed in it. So um, I work mostly on the AR smart glasses side of it at Meta. It was exciting, very challenging, and it was something new and different for me. And I don't know if I'm permitted to go into, I'll try as much as possible not to confuse people with the technical terms here, but it, it, it's, it involves understanding the physics of optics
Oh,
and then the fabrication process of some components of the hardware,
oh,
which involves nanofabrication, nanotechnology. And then there's the other part of it involves the design and software. So all this part of it work in unison to achieve the goal of smart glasses. Um, so having a background in chemical engineering and coming there, my
oh,
research. was mostly on nano fabrication. So that's one of the reasons why I was, I got the role. And then learning the physics of optics and understanding how the physics of optics marries with the fabrication process. It was a new learning for me. And it was exciting. You had incredible people in the team that you work with, smart, brilliant folks that, during all the different stages of the project, very challenging questions were brought in, problems were brought in, and you have to like think out of the box and resolve those issues and make sure that the final product is, um, I mean, it fits the the specification of a smart glass. And
Wow.
and uh, part of that was released, like a prototype was released last year, late last
Hmm.
year, Facebook, which is if folks are, conversant with the technology trends, called the Orion Smart Glasses. It was released last year, and uh, I'll say it's one of the happy and compliments that I was part of the
In
huge
fact, I
team
am, as you're
that
speaking this, and I'm just wondering in my head, what is he talking about? We are traveling to come and see these things physically so that we can you can tell us face to face.
well,
No, this is for me, this is so amazing and so beautiful to see that yes, it was challenging, but again, it was something that you're part of that actually shows that yes, these things we're not talking about things that are not these things are not happening. These are actual things that are involving because it's part of this technology and all of that, and it's taking place real time right in front of you. I find that quite impressive. You have an impressive educational background in chemical engineering and biochemistry. How have your academic experiences, how did they shape your approach to engineering and problem solving in your career? You have a very impressive educational background in chemical engineering and biochemistry. How have your academic experiences shaped your approach to engineering and problem solving in your career?
well, it's so there are two components of it. You start as a scientist and then engineering. Science
Wow.
as a scientist, you go through the training and the 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 rigors of going through that training spikes up your curious
Mm,
mindset, where you ask the how and the why questions. You do a deep dive, and that's how science is. It's more of discovery. You're asking the why, the how, the mechanism. How does this work? And we are blessed with nature all around us. It's science everywhere from the plants, the leaves. You want to understand how you put a seed on the soil, and in a few weeks it's growing and it's germinating, it's growing, and becomes a plant and bear fruits. So, in a nutshell, whatever training you get from science is basically asking the how and the why questions. And gravitating to engineering, it's more of problem solving. You have a problem statement and you're giving your known and then
mm,
your unknown. How do you use the known to
to
figure
find
out the
your
unknown? And there's creativity in engineering. Yes, you get through the rigorous training and all the the tools and the techniques and the fundamentals, irrespective of whatever major in engineering that um, you went through, but the toolbox is still the same. Um, from the unknown, from the known, trying to figure out the unknown, and your creativity comes into place where you have to think out of the box. You have to go through using some
mm,
non-conventional modes of processes or techniques that is not, you know, it's not in existence. You just figure it out of the box. and use whatever you have at that time to get a solution. So for me, it was a great transition and a great
Mm.
um, um, learning opportunity, but also a great development um, progression for me in terms of my knowledge base. So
Wow.
with 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 science, I knew how to ask the why and have questions. And with engineering, I could now go into science and two
Mm.
things to resolve a problem.
Awesome. This is, as you're putting the words together about knowing the how, the why, and the mechanism, creativity, all this in science. Honestly, I would never have associated science with this thing. Yes, I did a little bit of science, but again, talking about creativity and all of these things you're putting together and the words you're putting together for me shows someone who is quite passionate, who has a deep understanding of what he's talking about, and he enjoys what he's doing. Again, I will ask you this question because, again, looking at how demanding your work would be and all of that, as a devoted man with a demanding career, how do you manage the work-life balance? And what strategies do you use to ensure you have quality time with your family? Because I know you've pioneered a lot of new things, like the one you mentioned a couple of minutes ago. When you're doing those kind of things, I know it demands a lot of you because it takes your attention, your heart and your mind is in the project, you want to see the completion. And usually it's not something that you say, give me a couple of days. No, I know it took sometimes years to get these things to come to fruition. So as a devoted family man with a very demanding career, how do you manage your work-life balance and what strategies do you use to ensure you have quality time with your family?
Well, every individual has this unique approach and unique style. For me, also the first thing, number one, is having a very supportive and encouraging and understanding spouse. It's huge. Um, I would say I was fortunate enough and lucky enough. My spouse is also an engineer, and we both worked at, at Intel when when I finished grad school, and she understood, the culture, the the lifestyle, the how engaging engineers can be at Intel. It at certain point it can be high pressure, high intense environment, that kind of situation, and you spend long times trying to work on projects, you know. So she was in the same setup, so she understood. So it wasn't a problem for us. Like she knew this is what they do and this is what we do. So, but again, if your spouse is not, in the same, industry domain and different domain, but she's very supportive and she's, has that understanding, that's great. Um, Strategies, I'll put, I'll say, well, when I was at Intel, as I mentioned, my wife and I were both there and she understood. But
Hmm.
when we now give birth to our kids, we give birth to twins, it was a little bit, demanding. So um, that was one of the reasons I gravitated to another role. But again,
Hmm.
team dynamics, team dynamics, you have to understand your team, that every member of your team is supportive, from your manager to your peers or colleagues to junior uh, engineers or employees. You have to build that great team dynamics and empower them to be able to do work even when you're not there,
Hmm.
so that you're not the only person that knows how to do this, and you
Hmm.
start being, all the work is just thrown into you, and then before you know, you burn out. But when there's empowerment and training, cross-functional training within the team. So even if you're not there, the project will continue and the quality will still be the same as if you were there. So the team dynamics, know your team and have a very supportive team. Thirdly, take your time off. I don't joke with that. Once it's time off, vacation or anything, I shut down from work. Close my work computer, phone, whatever it is, I'm off because when I come back, I get refreshed, reinvigorated, and I can, put in my best to do work. So, in a summary, combination of having a supportive spouse, know your team, and have good team dynamics, and then when you're taking the time off, please take the time off and don't think about work.
Like these things that you just mentioned, I find that with some persons, executive, those who are busy in their career and their field, they find it difficult to distance themselves from the work, especially when they're on vacation. So they're on vacation, they're with the laptop, they're everything that still has that is related to work. There's always that friction, constant friction between them and their spouse because they keep saying words like you're always, always, always working. I love what you just said. And I love these three things, and I'm going to say it's what you said. Number one, you said have a very supportive, encouraging, and understanding spouse. Someone who understands what you do. And secondly, you said have the team dynamics. You should empower your team in such a way that there's cross-functional training. The work is not solely dependent on you. I hope those who are listening are taking notes concerning this part. For those who are not doing this part, yes, we need to begin to imbibe these values and this character such that everything is not dependent on you. If you're not around, everything caves in. You can't be the only star in the room. You need to begin to, you must learn as you go along, as you grow. Duplicate yourself. You need to have someone else who can do the work as good as you are. That doesn't mean that they will take them over, you know. It means that everyone in the team is growing. I love what you said about that team dynamics. And I talk about the cross-functional training. And I love the take time off and shut down completely. Everyone needs to learn how to do this. The reason why you need to take time off work and shut down is so that you can rejuvenate. You can go back and recalibrate. And when you come back, you're more energized, you're more revitalized, and you're actually able to function optimally because your brain has received the needed rest for it to function at its capacity. Thank you so much for sharing that amazing, amazing tips with us. Now, can you just please tell us, you enjoy soccer, you enjoy music, reading about ancient history. How do they influence your work life or provide you with inspiration in your engineering career? You can tell us how your personal interests, such as your soccer, music, and reading about ancient history, how these hobbies influence your work life to provide you with inspiration in your engineering career.
Well, uh, like I said in the beginning, I'm a soccer fanatic and I play soccer, I watch soccer. So it's something, a habit that I grew up with right from kid in that part of the world. You just have that passion for the sport. So um for now, that is a physical exercise I do to keep fit and to stay fit. I'm I'm not the type of person that goes to the gym and spends all how many days in a week in the gym. No, I just go. We have games in the weekend. Just go play for fun and to stay fit. I recall at Meta we had uh, soccer teams that would play during the week, during lunchtime. So between 12 and 1, we just go. During the winter, it's indoors, and during the summer, it's outdoors. And people from directors to junior engineers were there that would come and play with
Mm.
my directors, would play soccer, just that 1 hour or 1 hour, 30 minutes, just play, and then go back, take a shower, refresh, and continue walking. And it's been very, very helpful in terms of during the week, early in the week, you have a very tough problem. You're in a project, you're trying to figure it out. You do so many brainstorming sessions with other engineers, and then you know what, you go play soccer during the week, midweek, and you come back and you kind of have a different approach. There's something that comes out of it, that you start seeing the problem in a different way and start attacking the problem in a different way. So that was one of the experiences I had at Meta. And in terms of music, it's inspirational. There are certain times you're down, you're kind of demoralized, maybe the project is so challenging, or it could be family situation, but some music are so inspirational. They lift you up, lift your spirit up, and then you're moved from that, low energy state to a lot of positive energy and positive vibes within you.
Mhm.
Uh, I read everything. It's not only ancient history and civilization. I read science, I read technology, I read everything. But reading, first of all, in terms of in engineering, I like to stay abreast of current technology trends and future trends, looking at where the technology is going, and then marrying that with government policies, like where is the government funding the technology? Where is the funding going to? And not only that, what is important with the government at this point? Is it, climate change? Is it, uh, I mean, whatever it is. And then doing deep dive to understand, okay, let's say they're focusing on climate change, then where are the funds going to? Which companies are doing, for example, electric vehicles to cut down emissions. And then most of the electric vehicle companies, they get a lot of government support and funding. And then you know that, okay, in that direction, um, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for engineers. So I like to follow those kind of information and then help me to like figure out what do I need to study, what skill set do I need to add to my hat to be relevant in that kind of, technology. And not only the current, but the future, like 10 years from now, 20 years from now, what would the technology be? Where are we gravitating to? And then looking at the government policies. Then also looking at the challenges, the big problems we're having, and how is technology being used to resolve them. And then developing myself in those areas so that I can stay relevant. So that helps with me reading. So in a nutshell, football is what I do to stay healthy and stay fit. That's my exercise, or soccer. Music is just, inspirational. Lift your spirits, when you are down. And then I read technology trends. And then in terms of ancient history and civilization, there's this adage which my father always tells me, that there's nothing new under the sun. What has happened before, what is happening now has already happened before. And so you go back to history, different civilizations, Greek, Roman, Babylon, whatever, the powers that be as at then, those civilizations, they've what they did is being repeated again, but in a different way.
Yeah.
So So going back and reading and understanding that it helps you with the trend that, okay, if something happens now, you're like, oh, that had happened before, and this is what, we did, and this was the reason. Maybe a revolution occurred, the French Revolution. What was the driver? And it happened. And then we are seeing things like that, repeating in our current, present state, situation, in little pockets in different parts of the world. I don't know if I answered your
Wow.
question.
Yes, you did answer the question again, and I like the way you take your time to answer the question and actually delve and break them down into different pockets. You talked about the soccer. For me, soccer to you is what pickleball is to me. I realized that when I play pickleball, it doesn't make you tired. People think that when you have a sporting activity, it actually makes you tired. It doesn't make you tired. It actually kind of open your mind and your brain more to be able to think more productively and to be able to reason through an issue, like you said. People have challenges and is probably in a tie or in a knot, and you're wondering what next. When you go and play that soccer for that 1 hour, 30 minutes, and go back, get your shower, refresh, you're actually thinking through that storm more productively because again you've opened your heart and your mind to what the possibility of what the answer and the solution is. And it's about music being inspirational, giving you that energy, the flow of energy in the room, flows the energy, makes your energy flow to the direction that you want it to be. It's about reading. I love what you said, especially about reading, and that is something I noted down as you were writing. You're not just reading about ancient history, you're reading about what's going to happen in the next 20 years. What are the forecasts as regards what you're doing? Getting abreast, getting the information of what is in your particular field or career. For me, that is enormous. It's profound because you're not just reading for the sake of reading, which some of us do, or reading pleasure. No, you're actually also expanding your horizon. Well, what skill set will I need in the next 5 years? What do I need to prepare myself for so that I can be relevant in my chosen field? For me, that is really, 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 really beautiful. So, in wrapping up at this time, I want you to please talk to engineers. For those people who are aspiring to be engineers in this field, what would you want to tell them? What advice would you have for them? What advice would you give to young engineers and students aspiring to enter the tech industry, especially those from similar background as yours, and not just as yours, anywhere else in the world? Because again, they're engineers. A lot of them have different mindset. Oh, it is trending. I want to do this because it is trending. Oh, this is where they say the money is right now. What would be your advice to the young engineers and students aspiring to enter the tech industry?
Thank you for that question. Very, very interesting one. So, using my experience, um, the first piece of advice I'll give is be grounded in the fundamentals and the basics of whatever you're studying. Know your fundamentals very, very well. Know the basics very, very well. Have a well-grounded knowledge base of the fundamentals because when you transition from being a student to actually working, those fundamentals, you're going to use them every day in problem solving, any project you're involved in. So be grounded in
Mm,
those fundamentals. Second piece of advice is don't ever be scared of failing. Fear of failure, put it aside. Accept failing or failure as a learning process for your growth. Um, you're gonna fail, whether we like it or not. And you're gonna fail. You're gonna fail in some projects. You're gonna fail in a lot of it. You're gonna fail. When you fail, you don't just take it as, oh, that's the end of the world. But failing is a teacher teaching you something, telling you
mm,
something, showing you something. You're learning. So embrace failure as part of the growth process. Um, the third one I would say network and build relationships. It's critical to grow, to progress in your career progression. Um, build relationships with you know colleagues at work, whether you're working the same project, you're working different project, build relationships, join professional organizations, engineering societies, engineering professional organizations, attend, their meetings or conferences and network. You're going to meet people that will have something that you're looking for. And also, you're going to meet people that are looking for something that you have. Um, through networking, building relationship, you get mentors, people who have gone through that journey and know the path, the challenging path, and you can tap into them and they can guide you there. And also you can be a mentor to somebody. So build relationships, network, it's critical. Um, the last one I would say is cultivate the habit of continuous learning, continuous improvement on yourself, continuous learning. Be curious and fuel your curiosity with continuous learning. Don't be comfortable in any role that you are. Push yourself to like, okay, what else do I need to know? What else do I need to know? What skills do I need to know? Push yourself. Get out of your comfort zone. Learn something new. Learn something different. And and yeah, I pretty much say those are the 4 points based on my experience I that have been helping me a lot in my career
You have
journey.
spoken a lot advice to the aspiring engineers. For me, it's more than advice for aspiring engineers, it's for everyone. It's even to me, as you were saying it, I was just writing down and writing and writing and writing. I loved everything you said. You said every one of us should see failure as a teacher. Do not be afraid to fail. John Maxwell calls it failing forward. Evaluate the reasons why you fail and use it to your advantage. That is critical for everyone. But say embrace failure. No matter what each and every one of us will do, we will fail at some point. Embrace it. Do not be afraid of it. And it says that you need to learn how to network, you need how to learn how to build relationship. You need to push yourself, go above and beyond, go out of your comfort zone, to remain in your comfort zone. And people have this arrival mentality. I have arrived. No, you haven't arrived. Your journey has just started. Life is not a destination, it is a journey. We need to understand that we need to go above, go outside of your comfort zone, to be comfortable where you are. Ask yourself, what next? What's the next level? How better can I be? How can I better myself? I talked about join professional organizations. There are various professional organizations in your environment where you are. Join them. Attend meetings, you attend conferences. Why? When you go to conferences, you tend to hear what people are saying. I'm sure you go for conferences, you hear the industry, you see the industry openings, you see industry realizations, you see the industry happenings as they were. People will come with different ideologies, and you would see it's differently again in conferences. It's about your organization, it's about it's put together by different people, and you would hear different authority in different areas, and that will keep you abreast with whatever is happening in the particular field where you find yourself. And I want to end with what he said. Two things: get mentors and give yourself to continuous learning. Give yourself to continuous learning. I think every speaker and every guest who has come on this platform has said the same thing. Get mentors, a network, build a community, and give yourself to continuous learning. And again, I love the extras that Dr. Dennis talked about giving yourself to continuous learning. Not just learning for the sake of learning, but learning as regards pinpoint the particular areas of growth you need to learn. If it's industry wide, be focused on that. You heard what he said about reading about policies, about happenings, about what is coming and whatever it is. Funding, even government funding is important. So for me, he has spoken volumes. Dr. Dennis, you have done novel today. In fact, you dissected every single question that was thrown at you today. You brought them to the simplest form, such a way that anyone could really understand everything that you said. Last words to the audience before we, as we wrap up this section today.
Well, once again, I'm grateful for inviting me to this platform and share my experience. Um, Advice I'll give, or last word is we all have talent or what's called gifts or what you are good at.
Hmm.
Develop it, work on it, and those talents and gifts will open doors for you. There's nobody that's useless in this world. Every person born into this world was given a talent or a gift, or has something that he or she is good at. Once you're able to identify it, develop it,
Hmm.
improve on it, work on it, and it's going to open doors for you.
Wow, thank you so much for this last word. For me, this is powerful and very profound. Dr. Denny says that everyone is gifted at something. He said, first of all, you need to identify what that thing is. When you identify your area of giftedness, then you need to develop it, improve on it, so that you can become the best at what you actually meant to be. There is greatness on the inside of everyone. Thank you so much, Dr. Dennis, for taking out time of your busy schedule to be here today, even though I know that I practically twist you to be here. But thank you so much for being here. I truly and deeply appreciate all the powerful nuggets that you shared with us. And for everyone who is part of the audience today, I want to say thank you. And again, I'll always end with this. It's not just hearing these things that have been given to us, put them to good use. These are people who have gone ahead of us. There's an adage that says if you want to go on a journey on the road you do not know, ask those who are coming back from that particular destination, and they will let you know how to navigate the traps that are there and navigate those areas so that you get to your desired destination. He's gone ahead of us and he has shared with us what has guided him and kept him in the path that he has chosen. And again, there are areas of what he has said that spoke to you, resonated with you. Make the good use of those things. Don't just let them be there as words. Make the good use of them. Again, thank you, Dr. Dennis, for being here today, and everyone who was part of our meeting today. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all on Instagram tomorrow. Today was exceptional. Today was a Facebook Live, but tomorrow we'll go back to Instagram and it will be at the same time at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of this today. And thank you so much, Dr. Dennis. I'll see you shortly. Thank you very, very, very much and enjoy the rest of your day.